Hi everybody, how are you all? Well, I hope that you are doing great. Are you ready for another session of learning English with me? Today I'm going to take a very much requested topic by all of you. That ma'am, how to remember vocabulary. So I know that a lot of you face this problem that you are not able to remember the words, the vocabulary that you're studying. I do understand it, and in my recent live session this was asked a lot how to do that. One video is already there, so one video I've already posted which talks about how to use sticky notes. I suggest you watch it. This is the video number 2, and 3 months ago, nearly 3 months ago, I made another video that is active vocabulary, which was related to this particular issue. And today we are going to discuss everything in details, and I have one more perfect solution for you to remember words. Learn and never forget them. So are you ready for the session? I'm Shivangi Gupta, your English language tutor, and you're watching Speak English with Shivangi. Before beginning, I'd like to request you to please subscribe the channel if you haven't, because you get one long English lesson each day. Please like the video and share it with your friends. Now, talking about vocabulary. See, you have a lot of problem with vocabulary. For example, I've seen people that they are learning vocab. It's there in their memory, but when they want to speak words, they don't come to their mind, right? Whenever you are trying to learn new words, you learn them. Still, when you speak English, you're not able to use those words in your day-to-day conversations, in your day-to-day speaking tasks. And when you go out and speak in English, they're not used as much. Sometimes you feel like you have forgotten the words that you have learned. And this is a big problem. Now, the thing is that we have a storage here, right here. This is our memory. When we are learning words, it's directly related to our memory. Just like the memory that we have in our laptops and mobile phones. So when we have this particular storage, often there are things that we don't use, apps that we don't use, files that we have, but we no longer use. And what's happening? We're not using them. That means they're useless. They're going to waste. That storage, particular storage, is going to waste. Now you want to store good files, the files that are valuable to you, but you're not able to store them. Why? Because there is no space. Now, this is how our memory also works. You have storage. How much are you using it for your purpose and how much you're not using, and still things are stored up, they are taking up space and they're going to waste. That is the difference. So we call it active and passive memory, which in turn gives rise to the active and passive vocabulary. So I have discussed this a lot in a lot of my videos. I always talk about active vocabulary and passive vocabulary, which is a very important factor when it comes to remembering English, especially vocabulary. The things that you're using, that's your active vocab, active memory. There are words in your memory, and when you use them, you're able to use them comfortably without thinking twice. For example, let's take the example of these things which are here. Table, diary, plant, or you can say flower pot, bookshelf. Easy words that are there in your memory. Things that you don't take any time in retrieving. Whenever you're speaking, you're able to retrieve those words very easily. You're able to use them fluently. That's your active vocabulary. Now, the words that you have learned but you're not able to use, you're not at all comfortable in using. When you try to use them, you're not sure about the meaning, not sure how to use them. That's your passive vocabulary. The passive part of your brain, where you're just storing things up but not using them because you're not sure how to use them. How are they useful for you? Now, this is the difference between active and passive vocabulary. If you really want to know in details, which I highly suggest you go and watch the video, that is active vocabulary. The link is in the description box below. Go and watch it, where I have told you in details what is active vocabulary, how you can increase it, passive vocab, what to do about both of them. So the biggest solution today I'm going to talk about is, now let's come back to this particular video, that how to convert that passive vocab which you're not using into the active vocabulary. One thing that can change your vocab game and your fluency game. So if you are able to change your passive vocab to your active vocab, you will be able to remember the vocabulary that you're learning and you'll be able to use it very easily. Believe me. Now, the thing that you need to do today is maintain a vocabulary diary. Now, I have 2 diaries with me. I'm going to tell you what you have to do with 2 diaries. This is the star of today's video, the vocab diary or vocabulary diary. I like to call it that, vocabulary diary. You can make a notebook, you can take a register, whatever you're comfortable with. The thing is that it's repetition. Repeating is very important in order to turn your passive vocab to your active vocab, in order to remember the words. So if you will not repeat, you're going to forget them completely. And that is why your passive vocabulary often gets forgotten, or you're not able to use the words, because by the time you want to use them, you have not repeated them, they are not converted to your active vocab, and you forget them completely. And hence, you are back to square one. So back to square one is in the initial position that you were when you started learning. So you're back to square one, the initial position. And to avoid that, in order to get all the results from your hard work, you need to maintain this vocab diary, which will help you repeat the words that you have learned, new words. Revise and repeat. Revise and repeat. That's the key. Now what you have to do? You have to make this vocab diary and you have to use it in a correct way. That's the key. If you're not using it in the correct way, you will not get the benefit. Your passive vocab will never become the active vocab. Are you ready to know how to do this? Okay, let's begin. So this smaller one is the one where you have to note the words as you go. So in a particular day, you are going to interact with your environment. You might hear new words. You might read new words. What you have to do is, you have to make a note of those words in this small diary. We call it our, just note diary, note down diary, or just diary that where you're making a list of the words. That's it, nothing else. Now what you have to do is, at the end of the day, take this diary and whatever words you have written in this particular diary, you have to write them in your vocab diary and you have to work on them. Learn them in context. Now after repetition, the second thing that we need to pay attention to is the context. How to learn the context of the word. If you're not learning the word in the context, you will not be able to use it. Another way, turn your passive vocab to your active vocab to understand the context. So if you know how to use it correctly, you will be able to use it correctly whenever you want to speak something. Now let's do it. I'm going to show you exactly how you have to do it. Okay, before beginning, I want to recommend the number of words that you should cover in a particular day. So maximum to maximum, 10 words. Not more than 10 words, ever. Do not overburden your memory at all. Maximum 10 words, and I'll say 4 to 5 or maybe 3 to 4 words are enough. 3 to 4 words are totally enough, fine. So in a week, you'll have 30 to 40 words, and I think they are also a lot. Okay, let's begin. So today, I've learned 3 new words. Let's say I have 3 new words, and here are they. So these 3 words we'll be covering today, right? If you're not able to see, don't worry, you'll have a screenshot on the screen. You can refer to that. Okay, so the first word is ponder. Now what I'm going to do is, I'm gonna open my diary. I have already this particular table made for you. You have to make this table. I suggest you keep both the pages for a particular word. Use both the pages like a chart. You maintain a chart. Similarly, use both the pages as a chart. So the word, the meaning, and the example sentences, that's going to provide us our context. So your context will come through example sentences. Okay, so I'm going to write the word here in the word box. I think that's obvious. So that's what I'm going to do. My word number 1 is ponder. Now, meaning of this word is to think about something carefully. So I'm going to write the meaning here in the meaning box. To think about something carefully. Right? Now, one more thing that we need to do is, when we're writing the word, we have to write, like when we are writing this word, we have to write what kind of word is this. Is it a verb, a noun, an adjective, or an adverb? This helps you a lot in understanding the context when you will be using the example sentences. So below this word is a verb, right? Ponder. To ponder is to think. So it's a verb, and in bracket I'll write verb. In the beginning, if you want to skip this part, that's totally fine. I can understand when you're beginning to make a diary, it can be a bit difficult to manage everything. So this is something additional for those who think that they are at an advanced level. And if you want to skip this verb, adjective, the type of word part, that's completely fine. Now the sentences, right? So I'm going to write some sentences for you and then I'm going to show you. Okay, so I have written 3 of my sentences over here. So the first one is, she pondered about her reaction to the news. So she pondered, she's thinking hard. She pondered about her future as an astronaut. She pondered on how to break down the information to the panel. So these are the 3 words and you can see how we are using them in the context. So it's about how to deliver information, thinking about some important things, how you can use it in a sentence. That's your context and it is very helpful. Now what you can do is, after writing these 3 sentences, speak them out loud. So as I speak, you can also repeat after me. Whenever I'm writing sentences and I'm speaking to you, you can at that time repeat those sentences for your speaking practice. Now let's move on and do this for word number 2. I'm gonna show you one more word so that you get comfortable with this process. So my word number 2 is abrupt. Okay, so the meaning of abrupt is sudden, like something that happens unexpectedly, suddenly, and it's in a negative sense. You are not positive about it, about the outcome. So it has a negative feeling. The word is negative. And abrupt is an adjective. So I'm going to write that. Adjective. Right? The meaning is going to be sudden, unexpected, and unpleasant. So as you can see, I've written the meaning. Okay, now the sentences. Okay, so I have 2 sentences for you because the third one is going to be really important. The third one. So please watch the third word too because I'm going to tell you something different. So abrupt, I've written 2 sentences. Okay, you can repeat these sentences after me. There was an abrupt change in the conversation. Our car stopped at an abrupt slope. So slope is like the car is going on a straight road and then there is an abrupt slope downwards. So the car stopped abruptly. Abrupt stop. Okay, so that is sudden, something that happens suddenly. Okay, now the word number 3 is very important. Why? Because sometimes one word can have many meanings. What to do? Then what to do? The thing is that you have to write all the meanings down. Okay, so third word is like it has two meanings that I'm gonna take. So the word is ideal. Ideal, right? Okay. Sorry for that. Okay, ideal. So this word has two meanings. The first one is perfect. Someone or something that is perfect. A person, a situation, perfect. So this works as an adjective in that particular context. Okay, so something is perfect. A perfect example of something, maybe you can say. Okay, for example, I can say he's an ideal person to do this job. Okay, the next one is an idea, or basically some kind of belief that you have. That is a high belief, a notion on which you work. That is a noun. And that too, I'm going in a bit more details. It's an abstract noun, something that you can only feel. You can't see it. So abstract noun, idle. So another one meaning is noun. I'm going to show you the diary. Don't worry, let me show you this. Okay. So you can see one is the adjective, another one is the noun, which means an idea or a belief or a notion. Okay, so the sentences are, let me show you. We work on the ideals of equality. We share the same ideals. So basically, ideals are your principles, your ideas, your belief, notion. You know, this person has a perfect ideal and then they stick to it. For example, a person who's quite honest. So they will speak truth in any situation, regardless of the result. That quality is known as ideal. They work by the principles or ideal. Now that's the end of the lesson for today. This is how you need to maintain your vocabulary. Let me show you once again. So this is how it looks like. You do this, you maintain this diary. Do it for at least a month. Give it at least a month and then see the change in your vocab. Just maintaining this diary is not enough. You have to come back and look at this diary at the end of every week to just revise whatever you have learned. Revision is important, and when you have this particular diary, revision becomes very easy. You have all the things that you require here, right here, the word, the meaning, and the sentences. That's your context. So this is how you need to maintain a vocab diary, and this is how you can remember vocabulary for a longer period and turn your passive vocab into your active vocabulary. So that's it for today. I hope you liked the lesson and this is going to be helpful for you. Do make this diary. Now I'm gonna see you tomorrow. Till then, take care and bye.